The night sky above Alaris, 4 burned red. No one saw the ships coming. There was no warning. One moment the colony slept under calm twin moons. The next, alarms screamed through every city. From the edge of the system, a black fleet emerged. Silent. No transmissions. No lights. Just sharp, dark shapes cutting through space like blades. At first, people thought it was a drill. Then the bombardment began. Columns of white-hot plasma rained down from orbit. Entire blocks vanished in seconds. The ground shook like the world itself was cracking apart. Families ran into the streets, confused and terrified. Commander Vale, head of the colony's defense grid, stood in the control tower watching the sky catch fire. "Raise the shields," he shouted. "Sir, they're not responding," a young officer yelled. "What? Why?" "The signal's jammed. All systems." The control room went dark. Outside, the first defense satellites exploded. The enemy ships moved like hunters. They didn't talk. They didn't demand surrender. They only destroyed. Down in the evacuation hangars, a young technician named Lara tried to help children onto shuttle transports. The hangar shook violently as a plasma strike hit nearby. The roof cracked. Fires spread fast. The air filled with smoke and screams. "This way! Hurry!" Lara shouted, pulling a little boy toward a transport ramp. The shuttle engines roared to life. But just as the ship lifted, a plasma beam sliced through the sky. The shuttle turned into a ball of light. Lara fell backward, staring at the fireball. Her ears rang. Her hands shook. Across the planet, chaos spread like wildfire. Cities burned. Communications failed. Emergency signals tried to break through the jamming. Some got out. Most didn't. In a small outpost near the northern pole, a group of scientists managed to activate an old deep space transmitter. The leader, Dr. Cade, looked at the holographic map as red markers spread everywhere. "This is the end," one of his team whispered. "No," Cade said firmly. "Someone has to know. We have to send it." He started recording. "To any human receiver. This is Alaris, 4. We are under attack by unknown forces. Repeat, unknown forces. They're burning everything. We need help. Please." The wall shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. "Send it now." The technician pressed the control. A small light blinked. The message launched into space, racing toward Earth. Seconds later, the door exploded inward. Shadows filled the hallway. Tall, sharp shapes moved fast. The team screamed as the feed cut out. Far away, on Earth, the transmission reached the Global Defense Center. The room fell silent as the recording played on the central holoscreen. Images of burning cities. Plasma storms. People running. Shadows in the fire. When the message ended, no one spoke. Then, slowly, the commander of Earth Defense stood up. His voice was calm, but his eyes were like steel. "Activate the Defense Command Network," he said. Across the planet, old systems woke up. Hidden fleets powered on. Silent orbital cannons opened their hatches. Earth had been quiet for decades. Peaceful. But not unprepared. The enemy had burned their colonies. Now Earth had heard the cry. And Earth would answer. The message from Alaris, 4 echoed through every military base on Earth. Burning cities. Screams. Shadows in the flames. Within hours, the United Planetary Council gathered inside the massive Hall of Nations, deep beneath Geneva. The circular chamber was filled with holograms of leaders from Earth and the surviving colonies. The air was heavy. No one smiled. No one whispered. On the central screen, the last image of Alaris, 4 played again. The burning sky, the broken transmitter, then static. Admiral Reyes stood at the edge of the table, arms crossed. His uniform was old but clean, medals shining on his chest. He had seen wars before. But this was something else. They came without warning, he said firmly. They jammed every signal. Their fleet destroyed Alaris 4's defenses in minutes. We are facing a coordinated, hostile force. The Minister of Trade spoke nervously. We don't even know who they are. Maybe this is a misunderstanding. Reyes slammed his fist on the table. Does that look like a misunderstanding to you? The hologram froze on the burning cities. Smoke rose silently. Across the chamber, President Alina Devran lifted her hand for silence. Her face was pale, but her voice was strong. Enough. This is not a debate about their motives. Our people are dying. The colonies are burning. We must act. A scientist from the Deep Space Observatory stood and tapped his tablet. A star map appeared, glowing in the air. 2 more colonies have gone dark in the last 6 hours. We detected strange energy signatures moving toward the mid-rim colonies. At this rate, they will reach Haven 9 in 3 days. Murmurs filled the room. Haven 9 wasn't just any colony. It was one of humanity's largest, a thriving city world with millions of people. We can't wait, Reyes said. We must send the fleet now. But the colonies are spread too thin, another minister argued. If we move our defenses away from Earth, we could leave ourselves exposed. What if this is a trap? A tense silence followed. The leaders looked at one another. Fear was in their eyes. Then, President Devran spoke again. Slowly, carefully. Admiral Reyes, are the fleets ready for full deployment? Reyes hesitated. Yes. But I must be honest. We have never deployed the entire Defense Command network at once. The last real war ended generations ago. Many systems have not been tested under combat. But they are functional. Yes, Reyes said. And we have something else. A weapon they don't know about. Some ministers shifted uncomfortably. You mean the Aegis program? One asked. Reyes nodded. The Aegis Spear Fleet. Built for a war that never came. Hidden. Waiting. If we activate it, we reveal our strongest cards. But it might be our only chance to hit back. President Devran stood and walked to the center of the chamber. For years, we told ourselves war was over. We built colonies, explored the stars, and lowered our guard. But tonight, our people are burning. If we do nothing, humanity will fall one world at a time. She looked around the room. We will not wait. We will fight. One by one, the council members nodded. The decision was made. Admiral Reyes, the president said. You have authorization. Activate the Aegis Spear Fleet. Reyes saluted sharply. Yes, Madam President. Far above Earth, in the cold void of space, massive hangar doors opened on hidden orbital platforms. For decades, they had remained sealed, silent guardians no one thought would be used again. Rows of warships began to awaken. Lights flickered on. Engines rumbled. Massive rail cannons slid into position. These ships were not designed for patrols or peacekeeping. They were built for war. Deep inside one of these platforms, alarms echoed through the crew barracks. Officers ran through hallways. Engineers powered up old systems. Among them was Captain Mira Solon, commander of the warship UNS Valiant. She stood on the bridge, staring at the activation orders on the holoscreen. Her face was calm, but her heart pounded. This is it, her first officer whispered. Mira nodded slowly. It's time. She had trained for years. She had studied ancient battles and tactical models. But nothing had prepared her for a real alien invasion. Status report, she said. Main reactors online. Weapons charging. Fleet coordination coming through. We're receiving orders to assemble in high orbit for deployment. Mira turned toward the stars outside the viewport. Somewhere out there, colonies were dying. And soon, they would be next if Earth did nothing. Then let's move, she said. Bring the Valiant to readiness. We're going to war. Back on Earth, Admiral Reyes stood inside the Global Defense Command Room. Massive holographic maps displayed human space. Red dots, colonies lost. Yellow dots, under threat. He stared at the map, jaw tight. "They think they can burn us and leave," he whispered. "They're wrong." One of his aides approached. "Sir, Aegis Spear is online. First strike fleet will be ready in 6 hours." Reyes nodded. "Good. Send a message to all ships. This is not just a rescue. This is retaliation." Night fell over Earth. Cities continued their normal life, unaware of the massive war machine awakening in orbit above them. Only the leaders and soldiers knew how close the danger had come. And far away, in the cold dark between the stars, the enemy fleet kept moving, silent, fast, unstoppable. The Council had made its choice. The fleets were awakening. War was coming. The warship UNS Valiant slowly rose through the darkness, leaving Earth's orbit behind. Around her, dozens of other massive ships formed up, sharp, angular, built for war. Their hulls reflected the pale glow of the planet below. From the bridge, Captain Mira Solon watched as the stars filled the view. She had dreamed of exploring space as a child. But this wasn't exploration. This was a hunt. "All ships are in formation," her first officer, Lieutenant Karim, reported. "Fleet Command has cleared us for jump. Estimated arrival at Alaris Sector, 12 minutes. Mira nodded. "Transmit readiness signal. We move on my mark." Below the bridge, engineers worked quickly, securing systems, locking down the ship for long-range jump travel. The Aegis Spear fleet was humanity's strongest weapon, a secret armada built for a war no one ever expected to fight. Now, for the first time, it was fully awake. "Jump engines charging," the navigation officer called. A deep hum spread through the ship as energy built up in the core. Outside, faint blue light began to shimmer along the edges of the Valiant's hull. Mira gripped the command rail. "Mark." The stars stretched into long lines, and in a flash, the fleet vanished into jump space. Jump space was always unsettling. The view outside the windows turned into swirling currents of dark blue and violet. The ship creaked slightly as it slipped through folded space. Karim leaned closer. "Captain, do you really think we can stop them?" Mira didn't look away from the window. "We don't have a choice. If we don't stop them out there, they'll reach Haven 9. And then Earth." Silence filled the bridge. Every crew member knew what was at stake. 12 minutes later, the fleet exited jump space. The swirl of colors collapsed into normal stars again. But the view that greeted them was not normal. "Dear God," someone whispered. Alaris Sector was filled with floating debris. Broken stations. Shattered ships. The remains of entire orbital platforms drifted slowly, illuminated by the cold light of a dying sun. "Scan the system," Mira ordered quietly. "Already on it," Karim replied. "No life signs detected. Minimal power signatures. Captain, it's like they erased everything." The fleet spread out carefully, scanning for survivors. Searchlights swept through fields of twisted metal. Occasionally, they found escape pods, all empty. On the bridge, the crew watched a live feed from one of the scout ships. The camera floated past the burned remains of a civilian transport. Through the broken windows, they saw chairs still strapped with skeletons, frozen in place. No survivors. No mercy. "Captain, picking up something unusual," the sensor officer said suddenly. "Vector 92, Mark 14. It's alien." On screen. A dark shape rotated slowly in the void. It wasn't human. It was one of the enemy ships, broken in half but still intact enough to identify. Mira leaned forward. "Bring us closer. Launch recon drones." The Valiant moved cautiously through the debris field, escorted by 2 frigates. Drones zipped ahead, scanning the alien wreck. "Data incoming," Karim said. "The structure is strange. No recognizable language markings. Energy readings are faint but stable. Captain, we can board it. Mira hesitated. Boarding an unknown alien ship was dangerous. But if they wanted to understand this enemy, this might be their only chance. Prepare a boarding team, she said. I'm going in with them. The crew looked at her in shock. Captain, that's risky, Kareem said. I know. But if I send someone else and they miss something, we may never get another chance. Minutes later, Mira stood in the airlock bay, wearing a black armored EVA suit. A small team of Marines and engineers stood beside her. Their faces were hidden behind helmets, but their tension was clear. The outer hatch opened, and cold space greeted them. Using thruster packs, they floated toward the alien wreck. The closer they got, the stranger it looked. The surface was made of dark metal that seemed to absorb light. Sharp ridges covered its hull, like bones under skin. There were no windows, no doors, just smooth armor with strange patterns carved into it. They found a breach in the side of the ship and entered carefully. Their lights cut through total darkness. The air inside was still, dead. Stay sharp, Mira whispered through the comms. They moved down a long corridor. The walls were covered in unknown symbols, like claws scratching metal. Suddenly, a Marine pointed forward. Movement. The team froze. A small drone floated out of the darkness, alien, damaged, sparking. It hovered weakly before crashing against a wall. False alarm, the engineer muttered. But what they found deeper inside was worse. They entered a control chamber. Strange black chairs surrounded a central sphere that glowed faintly red. The walls pulsed slowly, almost like a heartbeat. Captain, the engineer whispered, scanning the sphere. This isn't a reactor. It's some kind of command brain. Mira stepped closer. She could feel a low vibration in her boots. Suddenly, the red light pulsed brighter. A burst of alien code flooded their translators. Alarms sounded in Myra's helmet. They're pinging us, the engineer shouted. The wreck just transmitted a signal. Myra's eyes widened. Back to the ship. Now. The team rushed back through the corridors. Behind them, lights flickered on inside the alien wreck, like a corpse waking up. They jumped through the airlock just as the Valiant's bay doors closed. On the bridge, Kareem shouted, Captain! Multiple contacts inbound. Alien ships, they're coming out of jump. Mira tore off her helmet and ran to the command chair. Raise shields. Sound battle stations. The stars outside twisted again, and then dozens of enemy ships appeared, surrounding the debris field. Their black hulls gleamed like knives. They had found the humans. Red lights flashed across the UNS Valiant's bridge. Alarms screamed. Crew members rushed to their stations. Outside, the darkness of space was filled with dozens of alien warships. Their hulls were sharp, black, and jagged, like knives cutting through the stars. Multiple contacts confirmed, shouted Kareem. 32 ships and counting. They're forming attack positions. Battle stations. Captain Mira ordered. Her voice was steady, but inside, her heart was beating fast. The alien fleet moved in perfect silence. No radio signals. No hails. Just cold, smooth maneuvers as their ships spread out to encircle the humans. Fleet Command, this is Valiant, Mira said into the comm. We've made contact. Enemy fleet present. They outnumber us 3-1. Admiral Reyes's face appeared on the holoscreen. Understood, Captain. Reinforcements are en route, but you'll need to hold the line. Buy us time. Copy that. Mira stood tall on the bridge, eyes fixed on the alien fleet. She could almost feel their gaze staring back. Open fire as soon as they get into range, she said. The first alien ships moved closer. Their weapons lit up like burning suns. Brace for impact. A moment later, the first plasma barrage slammed into the Valiant's shields. The ship shook violently. Sparks burst from several control panels. Shields holding for now, yelled the defense officer. Mira gritted her teeth. Return fire. All across the human fleet, rail cannons and missile pods opened up. Bright streams of tungsten slugs and guided warheads tore through the dark. 2 alien ships exploded instantly, their hulls cracked apart like glass. But the rest didn't slow down. They moved with terrifying coordination, adjusting their formations almost like a single living organism. They're learning our firing patterns, Kareem warned. Adapting fast. Mira stared at the tactical screen. This wasn't just brute force. This was strategy. Whoever these enemies were, they were intelligent. Dangerous. On one of the alien ships, a strange red symbol flickered to life, and the enemy fleet suddenly broke formation. Half moved to attack. The other half spread out, surrounding the human ships from multiple angles. They're cutting us off. Signal the fleet to tighten formation, Mira ordered. We can't let them divide us. But the aliens were faster. 3 human frigates were isolated on the edge of the battlefield. Before they could retreat, alien ships swarmed them. Plasma beams sliced through their hulls. In seconds, all 3 frigates were gone, burning wreckage drifting in silence. The bridge went quiet for a moment. Mira clenched her fists. No more surprises. Kareem, find me something useful in that alien Rex data before we're all space dust. Deep inside the Valiant, in the data lab, engineers and AI systems worked frantically to decode the alien sphere recovered from the wreck. Strange symbols and pulses ran across every screen. This technology is different, the lead engineer muttered. It's like the ship itself is alive. Kareem leaned over his shoulder. Alive? You mean biological? No. Not exactly. But it reacts to us, like it's watching. Suddenly, a burst of alien code flashed through the system. An audio pattern played, a harsh, clicking language unlike anything human ears had heard before. Translate it, Kareem said. The AI worked for several seconds, piecing together basic patterns. Then, through the speakers, a rough translated phrase echoed. Resource cluster identified. Haven, 9. Commence harvest. Everyone froze. Kareem's eyes widened. Oh no. He rushed back to the bridge. Captain, we cracked part of the data. They have a target. Their next attack is Haven 9. Mira turned sharply. Are you sure? Positive. The message repeated coordinates and the phrase, harvest. They're not just attacking. They're collecting. A chill went through the room. Haven 9 was one of humanity's largest colonies, home to millions of civilians. If the aliens reached it, the massacre would be unimaginable. Transmit this to Fleet Command immediately, Mira said. All units need to be redirected to Haven 9. That's where they'll strike next. Kareem nodded and sent the message. Outside, the battle raged on. 2 more alien ships exploded under human missile fire, but 5 human vessels were damaged badly. 1 cruiser broke in half after a direct plasma hit. They're closing in, the sensor officer shouted. Prepare for emergency jump. Mira commanded. All ships, fall back to regroup at Haven 9. We can't die here. Jump engines began to power up. The alien fleet detected the maneuver and surged forward, trying to block escape vectors. Time to jump. Mira barked. 30 seconds. The Valiant shook violently as more plasma beams hammered its shields. The lights dimmed. Systems flickered. Come on, come on. Then, flash. The entire human fleet vanished into jump space just as the alien ships closed the trap. Inside the Valiant, silence filled the bridge. The crew caught their breath. Some slumped in their chairs. Others stared blankly at the screens. Mira remained standing, her hands gripping the rail tightly. She looked out at the swirling colors of jump space. They're not just killers, she said quietly. They're harvesters. They see us as resources. Kareem swallowed hard. And Haven 9 is next. Mira straightened her back. Then that's where we'll make our stand. Far behind them, in the dark sector of space, the alien fleet began to reorganize. Their strange command signals pulsed between ships like veins glowing in the dark. Their course changed. Their destination was clear. Haven 9. And they were coming fast. Haven 9's sky was calm. The twin suns shone brightly over its great cities. People walked the streets, shopped in markets, and children played near the domed parks. But above the blue skies, a storm was forming. In high orbit, hundreds of human warships arrived one by one, tearing out of jump space like falling stars. Massive carriers, heavy cruisers, fast attack frigates, an entire armada gathered. On the bridge of the UNS Valiant, Captain Mira Solon watched the fleet appear. Her ship emerged beside 3 large carriers, their hulls glowing as shield generators came online. All ships reporting in, Kareem said quickly. Fleet strength at Haven 9 is now 317 vessels. Mira nodded. And the civilians? Haven 9 Command is evacuating. Transports are leaving for deep space shelters, but it's slow. There are millions of people here. Myra's jaw tightened. Then we hold this line. No alien ship touches this world. Far below, panic spread across Haven 9's surface. Alarms echoed through every city. Giant holoscreens displayed evacuation routes. Families ran toward shuttles, clutching bags and children. In the military command bunker deep beneath the capital, Governor Tion paced nervously. His voice cracked as he spoke to the hololink. We're moving as fast as we can, Admiral Reyes. But there are too many civilians. We need more time. Admiral Reyes's calm face appeared on the screen. Behind him, dozens of officers worked inside Earth's flagship, UNS Titan. You'll get it, Governor, Reyes said firmly. We're going to make time. The warning came just 2 hours later. Multiple alien fleets exiting jump space, shouted a sensor officer. Bearing 042 Mark 17, and more on 110 Mark 2. They're splitting their approach. Mira looked up sharply. How many? Initial count, 40 ships. No, 60, wait. Outside, space twisted violently. Dozens. Then hundreds of alien vessels appeared like black daggers piercing reality. Their formation was perfect. Silent. Terrifying. Admiral Reyes stood on the bridge of the Titan, his hands clasped behind his back. All ships, this is it. Earth fleet will not retreat. We hold Haven 9. The order echoed through every ship. Mira felt the energy shift across her bridge. Officers straightened in their chairs. Weapons officers locked targeting solutions. Engineers powered reactors to maximum. Here they come, Kareem whispered. The alien fleet moved like a dark wave, cutting through the void. The first shots came from humanity. Long-range rail cannons fired tungsten slugs at incredible speed, glowing trails slicing across space. Dozens of missiles followed, leaving bright fire streaks behind them. Several alien ships exploded immediately, but many dodged with unnatural precision. Their coordination was frightening. They swarmed forward like a school of predators. Enemy plasma weapons charging. Brace. The alien counterattack hit like a hammer. Plasma storms smashed into the front line of the human fleet. A cruiser exploded into a ball of fire. A carrier's shield flared bright red and collapsed under the assault. Valiant's shields at 82%, Kareem called. Hold the line. Mira shouted. Target their lead ships. Focus fire. The battle became chaos. Hundreds of ships fired at once. Explosions flashed like thunderclaps in the dark. Broken hulls drifted slowly as both sides traded brutal strikes. Myra's eyes moved rapidly over the tactical display. They're concentrating their fire on our left flank, she said. Reyes's voice came over comms. Confirmed. I'm redirecting the Titan and Battle Group Delta to reinforce. Valiant, hold center formation. We need that command relay stable. Understood, Admiral. The Titan, Earth's largest warship, moved forward slowly like a giant beast. Its heavy cannons lit up the dark as it fired. Every shot tore through alien shields and broke their formations. Still, the aliens kept pushing. Their numbers were overwhelming. Down on Haven 9, the sky turned red as orbital debris burned through the atmosphere. People looked up in fear as the sounds of distant thunder rolled across the cities, the echoes of the great battle above. Governor Tion stood at the evacuation command station. "How much longer?" he shouted. "Evacuation at 37%. He slammed his fist down. "Hurry!" Back in space, Mira saw something unusual on the sensors. "Kareem, what is that?" A new formation was breaking away from the alien fleet, smaller, faster ships, moving directly toward Haven 9's surface. "They're sending strike craft toward the cities," Kareem said. "Bombers or drop pods." "They want to hit the population directly," Mira said coldly. "Not while I'm here. Helm, angle us down. Target those craft." The Valiant's engines flared, swinging the ship into a steep orbital intercept. Its forward guns roared to life, cutting through waves of alien strike craft. Other frigates joined her, forming a defensive wall above the planet. Multiple bogies destroyed. "Keep firing. Don't let even one through." Suddenly, a massive energy spike appeared on sensors. "Admiral! Enemy supership incoming!" a voice yelled over comms. From the depths of the alien fleet, a colossal vessel emerged. Its hull was jagged and pulsing with red light. It was 3 times larger than the Titan. Mira stared in shock. "What is that?" Kareem whispered. "That's their command ship." The alien supership powered up its main weapon, a blinding sphere of energy forming at its core. Admiral Reyes's voice boomed across every ship. "All vessels, concentrate fire on that ship. If it breaks through, Haven 9 is lost." The human fleet turned its guns toward the giant. Missiles, slugs, plasma, everything fired at once. Explosions rippled across the alien ship's hull. But the sphere of energy kept growing. Mira clenched her fists. "If that weapon fires..." Kareem nodded grimly. "Millions will die." She stared at the tactical map, then at her crew. "Then we hit them first." Her eyes narrowed. "Prepare the Valiant for a direct strike run." The crew stared at her. "Captain, that's suicide," Kareem whispered. Myra's voice was calm. "Then we better not miss." The bridge of the UNS Valiant fell silent. Every officer stared at Captain Mira Solon, their faces pale, their hands frozen over their controls. She repeated calmly, "Prepare the ship for a direct strike run." Outside, in the blackness of space, the alien supership loomed like a nightmare. Its jagged hull pulsed with red energy. The glowing sphere at its core grew brighter, each pulse shaking nearby ships with invisible waves. If that weapon fired, Haven 9 would be destroyed. Kareem swallowed hard. "Captain, our shields can't survive their central cannons. If we go in alone..." Mira cut him off. "We're not going in alone. We'll clear a path, and others will follow. This is our shot." She turned to the comm officer. "Patch me through to the fleet." A beep sounded. Dozens of ship commanders appeared on the holoscreens. Mira didn't hesitate. "This is Captain Mira Solon of the Valiant. That thing is charging a planet killer. If it fires, Haven 9 is gone. We need to hit it now. I'm taking the Valiant in close. Cover us if you can." For a moment, there was silence. Then Admiral Reyes's deep voice filled the channel. "Valiant, your plan is reckless." Mira waited. "But it's the only plan we have. All ships, give her cover." The bridge filled with renewed energy. Officers straightened. Fear turned into determination. "Helm, bring us around," Mira ordered. The Valiant turned sharply, engines roaring. Ahead, the alien fleet was like a wall of moving blades. As the Valiant accelerated, human ships opened a path through the chaos. Battleships shifted positions, laying down heavy fire. Swarms of missiles filled space like glowing rain. Alien ships responded instantly, twisting into aggressive formations. The Valiant plunged forward. Enemy fighters incoming. Kareem shouted. Point defenses active. Mira replied. Hundreds of alien interceptors screamed toward them, glowing red like angry sparks. The Valiant's close-range turrets spun rapidly, firing streams of hot plasma. Explosions burst across their flight paths. Dozens were destroyed, but more kept coming. Shields at 72%. Keep moving. The Valiant weaved through enemy fire, rolling and diving like a predator. 2 escort frigates followed close behind, taking hits to shield the Valiant's flanks. One was destroyed in a sudden flash, torn apart by alien beams. Frigate Apollo is gone, someone yelled. Myra's eyes didn't leave the forward screen. They bought us seconds. Use them. Back near Haven 9, Admiral Reyes watched the Valiant's path on his tactical display. He knew exactly how dangerous the run was. Signal all ships, he commanded. Push everything you've got. Draw the aliens away from her. The Titan and its battlegroups launched a massive assault, their heavy cannons lighting up space. Alien vessels diverted to meet them, buying Mira more room. Inside the alien supership, something changed. The red sphere at its core stabilized, becoming a single blinding light. A low rumble shook space itself. They're almost ready to fire, Kareem said, panic in his voice. Myra's hands tightened on the railing. Then we'll get there first. The alien supership noticed the Valiant. Turrets along its hull rotated toward her. Bright plasma beams fired in every direction. Evasive maneuvers. The Valiant spun through the storm. One beam grazed the starboard side, tearing off a section of armor. The ship shook violently. Shields down to 41%. Hull breach on deck 9. Seal it. Keep going. Finally, the supership filled their view. It was enormous, so big that it didn't fit entirely on their screens. The glowing sphere in the center was now brighter than a star. Kareem whispered, "We're really doing this." Mira gave a small smile. "Yes, we are." "Arm the spinal rail cannon," she ordered. The ship's massive forward weapon charged up, a deep vibration spreading through the hull. Engineers rerouted power from life support and secondary systems. Lights dimmed across the ship. Rail cannon charging. 60%. 80%. Alien fighters swarmed around the supership like angry hornets, forming a living shield. "They're blocking the shot." Kareem yelled. "Not for long," Mira replied. "Fire secondary batteries." Dozens of plasma turrets and missile tubes along the Valiant sides opened up. Explosions ripped through the fighter cloud, clearing a narrow line straight toward the core. Rail cannon at 100%. Mira took a deep breath. Fire! The rail cannon roared. A tungsten slug the size of a shuttle launched at near light speed, glowing like a spear of fire. It cut through the fighter screen, through armor plates, and plunged deep into the supership's glowing sphere. For a second, nothing happened. Then the world turned white. A chain reaction exploded inside the alien ship. The glowing sphere destabilized, collapsing inward before bursting outward like a miniature sun. A shockwave of energy tore through nearby alien vessels, shredding them instantly. The supership broke apart, its massive hull splitting in half like a cracked mountain. Debris scattered in all directions. The bridge of the Valiant erupted in cheers. Officers hugged each other, some with tears in their eyes. Kareem shouted, "We did it! The core is gone. The weapon is destroyed." Mira didn't smile yet. She stared at the burning wreck. "It's not over," she said softly. "Not until the rest of the fleet is gone." All across the battlefield, alien ships hesitated. Their formation collapsed. Without the command ship, their coordination faltered. Human forces immediately pressed the advantage. Admiral Reyes's voice boomed over comms. All ships, full offensive. Push them back. The Titan and the rest of the fleet surged forward like a rising tide. Human guns roared, tearing through alien vessels that now scattered in panic. For the first time in this war, the enemy was retreating. Down on Haven 9, the skies cleared. The distant thunder faded. People stepped out of shelters and watched glowing debris streak across the heavens like falling stars. Governor Tion whispered, "They're leaving." On the bridge of the Valiant, Mira finally allowed herself a breath. The alien supership was gone. Haven 9 was safe. But in her heart, she knew this was only the first victory. "They'll be back," she said quietly. Kareem nodded. "And we'll be ready." The battle for Haven 9 was supposed to be over. The alien supership was destroyed. Their fleets were scattered. Humans had finally forced them to retreat. But deep in the darkness beyond the system, something was still moving. Massive alien jump signatures began appearing one after another. On the UNS Titan, Admiral Reyes stared at the glowing tactical display. New red icons multiplied across the screen like a spreading fire. "Sir," said the sensor officer in a shaking voice, "we're detecting another fleet." "No, several fleets. Hundreds of ships." Reyes's face turned grim. "They're sending everything they've got." Above Haven 9, human ships were still repairing damage, recovering survivors, and reorganizing formations. Many were low on ammunition. Some had lost their shields entirely. On the UNS Valiant, Kareem looked up from his console. "Captain, we can't take another wave like this. Half our ships are damaged." Mira stood silently for a moment, staring at the starfield where the alien signatures appeared. She didn't flinch. "They're desperate," she said quietly. "They're trying to crush us before reinforcements arrive." She turned sharply. "Signal all ships. Form up around the Titan. We hold this line. No matter what." In the evacuation shelters on Haven 9, the ground shook as orbital defense cannons powered up again. Children clung to their parents. People whispered prayers. Governor Tion's face was pale as he watched the skies from the bunker. "Please, not again," he murmured. The alien fleets emerged from jump space like a black storm. Hundreds of warships in perfect formation. At the center of the armada, a colossal command dreadnought appeared, its hull covered in pulsing red veins of light. Admiral Reyes's voice echoed through every human ship. "Listen to me. If we fall here, Haven 9 dies. Earth burns next. There is nowhere to run. So we fight. We stand together. Today, humanity makes its stand." The response from every ship was immediate and powerful. For Earth, the final battle began. Alien ships advanced in coordinated waves, their plasma weapons glowing like a rising sun. The first volley slammed into the human defense line, shaking shields and tearing through damaged cruisers. One ship exploded in a brilliant fireball. "Hold formation," Mira shouted. "Keep the wall tight." The Titan's heavy cannons opened fire, unleashing streams of tungsten slugs and fusion missiles. Valiant and dozens of smaller ships followed, filling space with light and fire. Explosions dotted the starfield as alien ships were torn apart. But their numbers were overwhelming. Enemy ships breaking through on the eastern flank. "Redirect frigates. Seal the gap." Missiles streaked across space. Beams and slugs cut through enemy lines. Human ships fought with brutal determination, refusing to give an inch. On the bridge of the alien dreadnought, alien commanders barked sharp orders. They had one objective: break the line, destroy Titan, and burn Haven 9. The dreadnought powered up its main weapon, a massive energy lance capable of cutting through an entire fleet. On the Titan, alarms screamed. "Admiral! Their main weapon is charging." Reyes didn't hesitate. "All ships, concentrate fire on that dreadnought. If it fires, we're finished." The Valiant swung hard to the left, diving through alien formations to flank the dreadnought. Enemy fighters swarmed them, but the Valiant's point defenses cut them down one by one. "Target their weapon core," Mira shouted. "Fire everything we've got." Rail cannons and plasma turrets hammered the dreadnought's shield. The Titan joined in, unleashing a storm of firepower. The dreadnought's shields flared bright red, cracking under the pressure. "Shields collapsing," Kareem yelled. "Keep firing," Mira commanded. Then, something incredible happened. From the edge of the system, new jump signatures appeared. Hundreds more. But this time, they were human. Earth's second fleet had arrived. Dozens of massive carriers, cruisers, and destroyers burst out of jump space, their engines blazing. At their head was the UNS Atlas, Earth's newest and most powerful battleship. The comms exploded with cheers. Admiral Reyes's voice thundered. "This is it. Earth Fleet, attack." The reinforcements charged into battle like a tidal wave. Their sudden arrival shattered the alien momentum. The alien dreadnought tried to fire its lance weapon, but the combined fire of Titan, Valiant, and Atlas struck it first. A massive explosion erupted from its core. Red light spilled out like blood. The alien dreadnought split in half, consumed by its own weapon's unstable energy. Alien ships faltered. Their formations broke. One by one, they began jumping away in panic. Mira watched the tactical screen as red icons disappeared rapidly. "They're retreating," Kareem said in disbelief. "They're not retreating," Mira replied softly. "They're running." Down on Haven 9, people poured out of bunkers and shelters. They stared up at the sky as debris burned in the atmosphere like bright falling stars. Cheers erupted across the cities. Governor Tion whispered, "They came for us," and Earth answered. In orbit, the human fleet slowly regrouped. Wrecked ships drifted silently, but their sacrifice had saved millions. On the Titan, Admiral Reyes looked out the viewport at the quiet stars. "They thought they could break us," he said softly. "But they forgot who we are." On the Valiant's bridge, Mira stood beside Kareem, exhausted but alive. "They'll think twice before coming back," Kareem said. Mira nodded slowly. "And if they do?" She looked out at the stars, her eyes hard. "They'll find us waiting." Far away, in the alien homeworld's dark chambers, their leaders watched the defeat in silence. Their supreme commander hissed in rage. "This is not over," he growled. "The humans have declared war. And now, we will answer."